Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. The Times reported it is thought Harry found out about Kate's diagnosis from television at the same time as the public. Royal commentator Sarah Louise Robertson told GB News, Harry reached out to his brother last night. There have been some text messages, some exchanges, and the fact that has happened shows there could now be maybe a thawing and a bit of an olive branch between the two families. And I think, wouldn't it be lovely if Harry could just make that apology? This is the time where you have to put all that bad blood behind you and you come together as a family. Catherine's diagnosis has put everything into perspective. The silly things that they were feuding about, it seems so futile. Meanwhile, the narrative has become that anyone who asked where Kate was is a horrible scoundrel. We asked Royal Insider Deep Crown about this, and our source was remarkably candid, telling us it is rather disingenuous to criticise the media's handling of the Princess of Wales' situation given the scarcity of information provided by the palace. In stark contrast to the detailed statement released regarding His Majesty's diagnosis, the information surrounding the princess was vague at best. The palace's initial assertion that Her Royal Highness would return to her duties by Easter proved to be inaccurate, though one can understand the desire to maintain a sense of optimism. However, this lack of transparency left the media with little choice but to speculate and report on the limited information available. It is important to remember that the royal family, often referred to as the firm, is indeed a business. The public's fascination with their lives is an integral part of their role, and the notion of true privacy is a luxury seldom afforded to those in their position, even if they choose to relocate to California. While the media's coverage of Kategate may have been extensive, with countless columns written and clicked on, it is unfair to lay the blame solely at their feet. In my opinion, His Majesty King Charles III has navigated this difficult situation with greater finesse than the Wales family, providing a clearer and more forthright approach to managing the flow of information during these trying times. Royal biographer Hugo Vickers was harsh on those who speculated on Kate's health. Vickers told The Sun, it says an awful lot about the mindset of these people, the high-profile ones, but also the very irresponsible members of the general public who just sort of weighed in as well. I think, quite simply, they should be feeling very ashamed of themselves. I think quite a few people have popped up and apologized, and rightly so. Within 30 minutes of the broadcast announcing Princess Kate's cancer diagnosis, Christopher Bowsey, believed to be an avid supporter of Harry and Meghan, went on a rant to his 350,000 followers on X. Bowsey, a tech chief executive, bizarrely claimed that Kate's diagnosis meant recent pictures of her were fake and accused the palace of engaging in North Korea-style propaganda. He wrote, I am sorry to hear Kate has cancer. I hope she has a full recovery. But it is also clear that all 3 earlier photos of her were fake, and the palace tried to cover it up. Apparently referencing Kate's Mother's Day photo, a video of her shopping in Windsor, and an image of her being driven in a car, Bowsey, who appeared on the Sussex's Netflix show, added, the palace lied, and the British press happily helped them lie. The countless conspiracy theory headlines, while knowing a lot of what was being said was true. This is really some North Korea Trumpian type of propaganda. Bowsey went on to accuse Prince William of throwing his wife under the bus over the altered Mother's Day portrait and said he had failed to back her in her announcement. Among the conspiracy theorists who spread a CNN clip, which has now been viewed millions of times, was a doctor who claimed that Kate's statement did not make medical sense. Asked how cancer could be found after surgery, Jonathan Reiner said, with all respect to the royal family, that kind of press release doesn't make a lot of medical sense. Friends of Kate told the Sunday Times part of the reason for Kate's video was to stop the speculation. One friend told the Times, Catherine's message was so honest. Isn't it sad that she had to be so honest and share that because of all the nonsense that has been around? I feel like the whole world has been gossiping about her and there is so much BS out there about her and her family. It was almost desperate that she had to do it. Another friend said she felt she had to do it because of who she is. It was more that she knows she is a public figure and has a wider leadership responsibility. She also wants to be able to carry on with as active and normal a routine as possible. In The Telegraph, Camilla Tominey writes, there is no greater contrast than that between the dignified princess and the sickening online trolls. We already knew that social media was a sewer occupied by faceless rats intent on infecting others with their disease of hatred. But their cruel treatment of Kate, since it was announced that she would be undergoing abdominal surgery in January, has been sickening beyond belief. From the peddling of hurtful conspiracy theories to the propagation of unsubstantiated lies, the keyboard warriors have inflicted an unnecessary amount of suffering on a woman now undergoing chemotherapy after a major operation. Shame on them. Where is Kate? Rang the moronic refrain, despite Kensington Palace repeatedly making it clear exactly where she was, recuperating at her home on the Windsor estate. Even when she was spotted out at a farm shop with Prince William, some deranged idiots still refused to believe it was her. What people don't seem to realize about William and Kate is that, despite being one of the most photographed couples in the world, they are inherently shy and introverted people. While they appreciate that public appearances come with the territory of being very senior working royals, they have never craved the limelight, preferring quiet nights into red carpet outings. A vocal minority may have behaved appallingly, but the silent majority will have huge admiration for the courage she has shown. Palace Intrigue will be right back. A palace source said the King and Queen are hoping to attend some form of Easter service in Windsor. However, it will not be the large family gathering that we might expect to see in different circumstances. Despite undergoing cancer treatment himself and stepping back from most public royal duties, King Charles is planning to attend the Easter Sunday service at St. George's Chapel in Windsor, if his health allows. The King hopes to leave the royals at the service, although the Prince and Princess of Wales will be absent as Catherine undergoes preventative chemotherapy for cancer. In lieu of his physical presence, King Charles has recorded an audio message to be played at Royal Maundy Thursday services this week at Worcester Cathedral. Queen Camilla will attend on his behalf and hand out the Maundy money, which is presented to men and women in one red and one white pouch, the latter containing money equal to the monarch's age. Following the Easter celebrations, the King and Queen will embark on their annual post-Easter break. Princess Anne's son Peter Phillips told Sky News Australia Charles is in good spirits. Ultimately, he's hugely frustrated that he can't get on and do everything that he wants to be able to do, but he is very pragmatic. He understands that there's a period of time that he really needs to focus on himself. But at the same time, he is always pushing his staff and everybody, his doctors and nurses, to be able to say, actually, can I do this and can I do that? The overriding message would be that he's obviously very keen to get back to a form of normality and is probably frustrated that recovery is taking a little longer than probably he would want it to. In the Daily Mail, Robert Hardman shares that the King met with Kate again after the video message. Hardman writes, "It was the King's handling of his own diagnosis, I understand, which played a key part in the Princess's decision to broadcast to the nation. Both she and Prince William had initially been firmly in favour of maintaining a news blackout following her initial statement about abdominal surgery in January. Over time, she had come to realize that the King's example of judicious, sparing candor is ultimately preferable to letting the online lunatics take over the asylum of public discourse." There were other factors too. The previous statement concerning the princess's health had said she was unlikely to resume public duties until after Easter. Once the subsequent discovery of cancer had led to a course of preventative chemotherapy from late February, that timetable was untenable. Throw into the mix the row over the edited Mothering Sunday photograph plus news of an investigation into a potential data breach of her medical records, a thoroughly distressing thought for anybody, and you have layer upon layer of added stress at possibly the most stressful time of her life. And that is not including the festering toxicity of social media trolls whipping up debates on the back of one baseless rumor after another. Once that poison has reached the school gates, and it had, then the children become the priority. The Prince and Princess decided that the last day of term would be the appropriate moment to clear the air. And there you have it. If you'd like to email us, our address is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. Please follow us on Spotify, Apple, or your app of choice. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. Palace Intrigue and good times.